Thank you for tuning in to the 2025 Ontario Doubles Crokinole Championship. This is a Tier 1 National Crokinole Association event. This is the third place match. In this game, we have the team of Pitter Patter, Darin Van Gammeren, who placed fourth at the World Crokinole Doubles this year, alongside Brandon Osborne, and Garret Tracey at the far side of the board, who won the Maryland Crokinole Championships in 2024 and 25. Playing against them, the team of, I believe, named Captain Bechtel, Ray Kappes in the red shirt, far side of the board. He is your 2003 World Crokinole Champion, and with him, Kevin Bechtel. This team together placed fourth in the 2016 World Doubles. This will be a race to 9 points, and you'll have some special insights because I, as a commentator, also played in this match. Kevin to open up, coming up a little bit short on his first open 20. Darin to go up the line to convert and get an immediate advantage in round 1. And he gets it with the off, very nice. Hit a post, not exactly what he intended, but nonetheless. Kappes also missing ever so slightly, leaving a heavy hanger. Looking to convert. And a little bit of laughter between the team of Pitter Patter. Garret unable to convert that 20, but Kevin losing his shooter open board opportunity for Darin, which he converts on, carrying the team a little bit. Kappes with a near angle in 20. He is an absolute sharpshooter, so we'll be seeing lots of attempts from him. Garret rolling into the house. Certainly not the smartest there. Would have liked to stay on the outside. Nonetheless, in a hard spot for Kevin to work with, and Darin able to get it slightly back outside. And Ray, there he is, draining a 20. You hear me saying Darin fell right into his trap. Some talk with the cameras. I was running cameras today. They wanted to make sure they were running, and they were. A little bit of a pause, and Garret unfazed by it. Keeping an advantage in the cup, forgetting he's the one to pull out 20s. Kevin also finding his range, and we are in a 20s race now. Ray and Kevin will be looking for a mistake out of the team of Pitter Patter. That's what they need to catch up. And they need to stay strong on their open 20s. While they do so, there's the mistake. Lipping out on the right side of the center. Kevin rolling out ever so slightly. Didn't want to stay too close to the center and not so far out that plays on the outside. Ray will have an opportunity still here as Darin, a little bit hard for him to get outside of the post. Kappes trying to catch a post and bounce back. I might be going for the conversion here. Yeah, when it's lined up like that, it's kind of nice to just run the 20, and worst comes to, you roll away like that. Far side of the 15, Kevin loses his piece trying to bounce back off the post. And Darin could put the nail in the coffin. Doesn't quite get it. But quite the pickle for Ray, even if he gets a double and a 20, which we know Ray Kappes loves to do. All Garret would need is a valid shot to win the round. And with that final shot pretty much inconsequential, the team of Pitter Patter taking the first 2 points of this match. We see that nice immediate conversion from Darin and that beautiful bounce back 20 from Ray. A huge thank you to Crokinole Depot and the Varna Crokinole Club for hosting this tournament. If you want to learn more about either of those groups, you can check them out. Links are in the description below. Darin coming up short on his first open 20. Ray rolling to the outside. Now, typically, I would run the 20 there, but a beautiful shot nonetheless, going a bit more defensive. Certainly didn't need the 20. They have the hammer, so keeping it 0-0 in the cup and play on the outside is perfect for them. Kevin not getting the off, but certainly not the worst. Darin rolling in and getting dangerously close to the center. Kappes will be looking to convert on that hanger. Rolling out a little bit. Maybe he wasn't looking for it nonetheless, because they have a piece in the higher region. It is getting a little bit risky as Garret gets a follow through. I can say right now, I'm not sure that's what I was intending to do, but if it works, it works. Actually, at that point, yeah, I would have been fighting for the 20, so you hear me saying, I'm back. If you watch the semifinal, you know that wasn't the best match for me. So hitting a shot like that was quite the confidence booster, and staying on the board there. Playing the center, a bit of pressure now on Ray and Kevin, who will be looking to convert, and Kevin doing a good job getting right in front of a post. I think the hamster shot was recommended. Darin will be looking to bounce back here, I believe. And yeah, the off is just so tricky with where that piece is awkwardly placed. And so far in the day, I don't think Darin got a hamster shot, which he loves so much, so went for it, unable to convert though. And Ray now solidifying 2 pieces on the board. And Garret with an invalid shot hitting the post. Kevin really makes that hurt, draining an open 20. Now with 2 pieces on the board, tied in the cup and with hammer. Ray and Kevin with quite the advantage right now. That one piece not as nicely posted anymore. Darin managed to move it a little bit on his last shot. But he goes for the other one, an easier clear for him. And also leaving a tricky shot for Ray, but he handles that with ease. We'll see what I'm able to do here. Might be pushing for another follow through, but catching a post, ending up on the outside. And great shot from Kevin, just sitting in that spot. Darin has 2 options here. He can either go for the hide on the outside here and get that piece off. He might be trying to come in as well, but I think with where that is, might just be staying out. Might have been pushing to come in. Not quite a hide here. Ray has to go through his own piece, but that should be easy enough. There it is. Final shot for the team of Pitter Patter. Garret needs to go for it. It's running the angle in 20, and then Kevin needs a valid shot firmly in the 15 to tie, and an open 20 to win. You hear me talking, discussing the hide, but if Kevin's even able to touch it, then they would win the round. So the 20 is the best option. Not a great execution on that. Kevin just needs a simple takeout, which he gets. Ray and Kevin tying it up 2-2. You see that nice follow through. Heading into round 3 now. Ray to open up, going long on that first open 20. A good miss though. Looks like that is against the post. You see my face. I'm thinking about doing the bounce back here. And not quite the right line for that. It's always a finicky shot, but when it's posted like that, sometimes there's no better option than to just make sure your piece stays on. You may get a 20 out of it, you might not. But now Ray and Kevin with 2 pieces on the board. And while they're playing against the hammer with both those in the 15, this is a decent position for them. A little bit of work for Pitter Patter to do. Here's some discussion, either looking for a double or a conversion. We'll see what Darin's able to do here. Very nice. Only getting the 1 off, but getting that black piece perfectly posted. I don't think there's any way Ray gets this off. He himself goes for a bounce back. At the very least a touch, and leaving Garret very gummed up here. On the upside for Pitter Patter, they are now 2-1 pieces on the board. With this situation, if it ended like this for the end of the round, they would be up 10 points. So a bit of pressure on Kevin and Ray now. Kevin trying to hide the 1 piece. And the interesting part about the center is Darin has to hit his own. Or that shot is more than likely making contact with his own. We'll see the result of that. Did a decent... I'm not sure what happened there, actually. Not sure if that's what they wanted. Nonetheless, Ray left with a 20. They are now up in the cup. Open 20 opportunity for Garret, looking to balance it out. Comes up ever so slightly short. I think that wobbled. And Kevin making that mistake hurt. Now up 2 in the cup. Bit more pressure on Darin now to make the open 20. If they don't make this, it could be trouble. Doesn't make it, if my math is correct. Total of 40 points on the board, perfectly tied. Ray going for something. At some point, they'll need a double if they want to win the round for Ray and Kevin. But they're feeling pretty comfortable at this point. What a bounce back 20 from Garret. I will say that was definitely not intentional. The angle in, yes, I was not looking at that post. That could have gone way worse, but it went the best it could. Still some work for Pitter Patter to do, as Kevin will be looking to roll in here. Nearly got the 20. And as the situation is right now, we'll see where Darin ends up, and we can do a better assessment of that. Darin was looking at the 20 up the line. See something in the background. Something very exciting happened. I guess we'll see when the finals come out. See Darin there going for that very short follow-through, but ended up on the outside. Right now, it's only 15 points on the board for Pitter Patter, so they'll need to promote some pieces. Ray doing some of the work, nearly got an angle in 20, which would have been all but the nail in the coffin in the round. But since he didn't get it, Garret able to play to the 15, now with 25 points on the board, and just winning by a nickel. That's all they need to take the round. Kevin gets a nice touch 20, though. A lot of pressure on Darin to make an open 20 here. He gets it, keeping the pressure on ever so slightly. Final shot for each player, tied up in total. 20 points on the board, making up for the 20s discrepancy. Not sure what Ray is thinking here. Very nicely done. Demotes both those pieces. Although, Garret soon to get 3 pieces on the board. That was not what he lined up. He had a thin line, but he doesn't get the off. This is a good situation. What a shot. Yeah, you see me, sometimes there's nothing you can do but shake your opponent's hand and say, well done. What a beautiful triple out of Kevin. It's been a while since I've seen a triple shot, and there is nothing Darin can do. Double follow through 20. It's his only shot. See if he can get it. Yeah, that would have been so tough. Ray and Kevin taking the lead, and I want the replay on that. See a nice few highlight shots around the board. Few conversions from Kevin and Ray. This angle in off the post, which I thought was the best shot of the round until, oh, not even this. Kevin was converting a lot. Here it is. This gets that, hits all 3 pieces. Beautiful. In round 4, this is a Tier 1 National Crokinole Association event as part of the 2025-26 NCAA Tour. If you want to learn more about how your favorite players are doing or upcoming events you can potentially attend, check that all out on the National Crokinole Association website. Link is in the description below. Ray and Kevin with the hammer in this round slide. Advantage to them right now, but a heavy hanger for Garret. Able to get it up the line. And I can say I was struggling with those shots. I normally do up the left side, but able to convert there. Feel good moment. And Darin also left with a conversion opportunity. We'll see if he's able to work with it. Not quite, and might have left an opportunity for Ray. He'll want to be a little bit careful not to hit his own piece. Gets the 20. Doesn't move his own very much. Now, in hindsight, he probably wanted to move that a little bit more because now I'm left with another 20 opportunity. Looking for a nice touch, rolling a little bit far, passing the chance on to Kevin. And this will be a big shot for Kevin. Now, I might have misspoken. Kevin and Ray do have the hammer in this round, so they are feeling comfortable right now, tied in the cup, 1 piece on the board. Better pressure on Darin, going for a big follow-through, just a little bit offline. But, unfortunately, very close shot. Leaves a 20 chance for the opponent. Ray, unable to convert. Another tough shot for Garret, up the left side of the quadrant. See if he's able to convert. Gets the touch. Very nice. Also left a 24, Darin. And Kevin comes up a little bit short on the open 20. Darin has 2 options now to work with. Probably going for the one hanging more heavy over. He wouldn't want that interfering if he went off the other piece. Gets the 20. Very nice. Now up 2 in the cup. Leaving a few pieces on the board. But without that open 20 from Ray, this is a good position for Pitter Patter. Total of 30 points on the board currently for the team of Captain Bechtel, I believe. So Garret now going on the defensive, rolling behind the post. Nice defensive shot. You see the thumbs up from Darin. He approves. A bit of discussion about maybe going through their own piece, I believe, there. But Kevin opting to find a different lane. You see Garret pointing to that outside piece. Although that one in the center is close enough, Darin could be able to convert. And, yeah, you hear Garret saying, the only issue is, if Darin hits that, Kevin can go through his own for a potential 20. So Darin opts to go for the 20 in the center and converts. Great call from Darin. Garret was thinking more defensively, but Darin loved the shot, and he converted. He executed. And now most certainly able to play defensively, up 320s in the cup. Garret just staying to the outside. Not much Kevin can do here. And I think at this point, they are mathematically out of it. Pitter-patter will be tying it up 4-4. And yeah, you see Garret this time more confidently saying, even if they get the 20 through the center, be such a tough shot. And that does it. Darin and Garret. I can't even say my own name. Tying it up. See some nice shots up the left side of the quadrant. And again, like I said, I was struggling with these throughout the day, so to hit a few of these in one round felt nice. A good 20 from Darin here. And we see another one. This was a great call just to take that shot, even though it was more tricky. Headed into the 5th round. We've made a full lap around the board. All tied up. Kevin opening with the 20. We are off to the races. And Darin lipping out on his first attempt. Ray just staying in that spot. Tough follow through for Garret if he wanted to go for it. Not sure what I was going for there, but that wasn't great. Actually, now I remember. I wanted in front of that post, but I wanted the off with it. You see Kevin having a bit of difficulty. He wouldn't have been able to get that off, I don't think. But bit of a precarious situation. Now Darin and Garret do have the hammer. About to have 2 pieces on the board. But they are down at 20, so they need a little bit more than what their situation is currently. And might be a double here for Garret. We'll see. Oh, never mind. He doesn't like it. So taking the single off. Doesn't look like he really left Kevin with any great opportunities with his own shooter, but he might be going for an angle in off that closer piece, which can always be wise. Because that piece, there's no way Ray's working with that piece on the outside. So only Kevin can work with it, and nearly got a 20. A bit too much juice on that one. However, went right over the center. Saw it lip over. See what Darin does here. Playing to the inside. Looking at the situation right now. Believe it is perfectly tied with 30 points for Pitter-patter on the board. And only 10 for Kevin and Ray. However, they are up to 20. So yeah, it's perfectly tied. Ray, I think he was pushing through his own a little bit, but lost his shooter. An opportunity to have 3 pieces on the board. Rolling down to the 5, which isn't super ideal, but now this is just enough to beat that 20s discrepancy. But if Kevin can get a double somehow, it'd be very good. Or a 20 here. Going for the touch. Doesn't get it. And Darin looking for that 20 up the line. The only issue is, depending where that piece goes off, could be hitting his own, which wouldn't be ideal, especially if he doesn't convert. So instead, dropping to the left side for that short little follow-through. Able to get it. Very nice shot, Darin. Beauty shot. Ray trying to get in. Doesn't get it. Garret more than content to play to the outside now. Tied in the cup, 3 pieces on the board. Pitter-patter is in a very comfortable situation. Kevin with an invalid shot. Darin will be looking to make that mistake hurt, and he does. Kudos to Darin. He was really on with his cold open 20s in this round. There wasn't a lot of open 20s initial races for anybody around the board, I don't think. But in terms of in the middle of the match, Darin was killing it with those. Looks like Kevin trying to bump up his own piece, but hits a post instead of his own. And Darin very content at this point just to play to the outside. Getting very nicely behind the peg there. It'll be tough for Ray. I think he could play through his own piece for the center. But this is a tough situation. Looks like he's playing to the centerpiece. He got it, but angled out. I think Garret just needs to take out, and that does it. Garret and Darin taking the lead again, going up 6-4. This video coverage is provided to you by Tracey Boards, the official board builders for the World Crokinole Championships. and the board being used in this match. If you'd like to learn more to buy your very own board, go to tracyboards.com. Link is in the description below. We are 320s into the round. Kevin the first to miss, leaving a heavy hanger for Darin. Most likely to convert on this. We'll see what he's able to do. A bit too much juice, passing the opportunity on to Ray. Able to convert. Full reset of the board. Tied 2-2 in the cup. Garret this time going long. And might have left a nice touch 20 for Kevin. Went for the off as well, and while he didn't get it, leaves his piece very nicely posted. Particularly nice because Kevin and Ray are working with the hammer, so good work to Kevin to getting that there. I think Darin was going for the hammer. Going for the hamster, but Ray, what a shot. Yeah, you see my face. That was a beautiful 20. A lap between the players. Kappes showing them who is the boss in this round. And Garret losing his shooter. Kevin makes that hurt. Kevin has also been very strong with his open 20s when it comes to making mistakes hurt whenever I lost my piece. So that was something to be particularly cautious of. I think Darin and Kevin in particular in this round just really good with their cold open 20s. See what Darin does here once he's moved back. Able to push in, but leaving a 20 opportunity for Ray. Could settle for the touch, but he wanted the off with it. But not much for Garret to work with here. He'll be going for a follow-through. They really need it at this point. Over halfway through the shots. Got some nice push, but not the right line. Kevin hitting and sticking in that area, leaving Darin with a difficult shot. And Darin ending up on the outside. Ray, more than content just to stick there. Garret has an opening to get in and nearly a little bit offline for the angle-in, but close with some of those shots. Now there's a lot of chatter through the day about me being on with my angle-ins, but my performance says otherwise. I was hitting shots, but angle-ins were not one of the things I was hitting. It was the night before I was on those, but not today. Perhaps overly confident, but Darin getting a nice shot. Scoreboard's a little bit wrong here, so give that 20 there. That works out. I believe that's caught up properly. Garret coming up short. Final shots inconsequential. Kevin and Ray tying it up 6-6. We're going to see a lot of conversions around the board. This beautiful shot from Ray. What a follow-through. Yeah, you see my expression again. That was just a beauty shot. I think that was most certainly a highlight of this game. Ray to open up this round. And something I liked about this game, or any game in general, is not a lot of open 20s races at the beginning, which means we get a lot more play on the board and a lot more strategic breakdowns. Garret with a nice touch 20, not really concerned with the off. See, we leave that piece on the far side of the board away from Ray, so even with that open 20, Darin very much able to play defense. Pressure will be on Kevin to bring play back into the center. Tied it, never mind. I'm going to do it for them. I think that's the second time this game I made that mistake where I rolled in a bit too much. Play back at the 15 for Kevin and Ray to work with. Looks like Kevin going for a bit of a follow-through, but drops a 20 for us. An unfortunate shot. Now up in the cup. Darin looks like he's trying to get between the laneways, doing a good job. Short little push from Ray. Not quite enough to get in. And Garret rolling right in front of a post. I am not sure if there's an off for Kevin here. Yeah, he goes for the touch. Didn't look like he was going to be able to get that. And it's better to just touch that than try to power through. Because if you power it, whole bunch of chaos, you're more than likely losing your shooter and opening the door for your opponents to get an open 20, maybe drop a 20 for them, and then they get an open 20. So, good move from him. See what Darin's going for here. Not quite sure what happened there. Nonetheless, we'll keep moving on. Angling opportunity for Ray. Nearly got it, but lipped out of the center again. There's been a few times we've seen Ray dead on with the 20 and just a little bit strong. I think that was one of the issues that Kevin and Ray were running into. Nonetheless, play on the outside of the board. Darin and Garret up in the cup, more than content to keep it here. Bit of a Brubaker situation going on right now. Ray very quick to peel. And Garret rolling a little bit close, trying to get behind that post. I think just far enough that Kevin wouldn't have been able to pull it back. Nonetheless, it's going to be on Ray to bring this back into the center. I think that's decent positioning from Darin there. No straight line to the center. I stand corrected. Of course I do. It's Ray Kappes. What do I mean? No 20 available. Nearly got it. But yeah. Yeah, it was wraps after that. Darin and Garret now going up to 8-6. 1 point away from winning this third place match. Garret opening with a short shot. Kevin going a bit on the defensive, getting to the outside, and while he didn't get the off, certainly a good situation still for them. Darin having to play through the post, loses his shooter. Ray will be looking to get this off and have 2 pieces on the board for their team. Doors open for an angle in, but again, I wasn't super on with these, so never mind! Haha, I knew that one was coming too. Psyched you out, I hope. That was the one angle in I hit today. A nice shot, but Kevin evens it out. Back to a very similar situation where, yeah, Darin can't work with anything here. Unable to keep his piece on either. That can be tough, shooting through to the far 5 quadrant from you. Nonetheless, Ray left with an open board. Unable to get the 20. That being said, a bit of an awkward leave. Garret able to get it, but close to ending up on the outside. Kevin content to stay between the posts. If Darin wants to get back in, it is going to be a hefty push. See what he's able to do here. Able to get it in the house. Very well done. And also not leaving Ray with a lot of opportunity here. Ray content to hit and stick in that area. Looks like he got pretty well in front of the post. I think that will go, but it's going to be a bit of a tough angle. Doesn't look like I see it. I'm looking from this side, and I think the off was there, but I'd end up rolling out to the 10. So opting to go for the hamster shot, unable to get it. And the question everybody is asking is, will Garret and or Darin get a hamster before this game is over? If they do, it'd be their first hamster of the day. Darin considering his options. Looking for potential doubles. You see Garret pointing out the line, and that is so tight, that post there. Not sure if it was a great recommendation looking at it now. But that being said, playing against the hammer over halfway through the shots needed something big. See what Darin does with this. Looks like he's going for that short little push, and he gets it. Again, beautiful call. And that's great to know, like, as yourself, knowing what shots you're doing well with. Nice bump and run from Ray. But Darin knew he was on with his short little follow-through, so more often than not, he would opt to do those with very high success, I would say. Ending up on the outside of the board. Kevin more than likely to kind of stay in that area. Looking to gum up Darin a bit. Darin will need to bring this in to the 15. Down to the final 3 shots for each team. And I really don't think there's a 20 here. Nice in from Darin, and I think far enough away that Ray's going to have a tough time converting anything. Ray loses his shooter. Garret could all but put the nail in the coffin in this round with an open 20 here. You see me taking my time. I wasn't super on with my open 20s when we got to the elimination matches, and I think it got in my head a little bit. So you see me taking a little extra time without any success going along. You see me laughing to myself. I knew what that meant, and there's not much you can do but shake that off. 2 pieces on the board. And on the upside, a tie round would mean a win for us. That brings us to the 9-7 mark, and 9 points is a win. Still, would have been ideal. You hear the applause for the finals match wrapping up before the 3rd place. I won't say who won that. However, that will be coming out very shortly. Kevin looked like he was going for a bit of a follow-through. Hear myself talking in the audio, I believe. If Darin stays in the 15, he need to get a double to win it, to win the round at least. And yeah, that is beautiful positioning. All Ray can go for is either a double or a 20, or a double and a 20. The Ray Kappes special. We'll see what he's able to do here. What a shot! Hear me say, well earned. They tie it up 8-8. We see that one angle in of the day for myself. Beautiful follow through from Darin, and I want to replay on this. What a double. Far angle to catch that other piece. Narrowly missing his own shooter as we head into what could be the final round. You hear me saying it's the main event. The finals is over, but you know, there's still some Crokinole action. Something for the people to watch and enjoy before the day is over. Kevin opening up with a 20. It comes down to this. Darin following suit. And we might have a bit of an open 20s race. For the first time in this match, I stand corrected. Ray going a little bit long. You hear me say, we are getting out of there. And I do not get out of there. You can see from my expression, totally unintentional. I did not mean to do that. Great result. Horrible execution on what I was planning. I wanted to just roll away, play defensively. But sometimes the best defense is a good offense. Bit of pressure on Ray to bring this back into the center. Ray and Kevin don't have the hammer. Pitter Patter does, so they need to get in. Ray hitting a post, so Garret more than content to stick to the outside. And I personally love finding situations like this where half the team is kind of stranded. Like right now, Kevin, there's not much he can do but stay on the board. And it's up to Ray to bring it into the center. And that's just the reality of the situation, being on the outside. Ray with a great push. And you see me, I love doing that. Hitting that post ever so slightly to bring it back out. And you see again, all Kevin can do is hit and stay on the board and hope to find a better position for his partner to bring it in. And the other part of this plan is for Darin to keep finding spots that is very difficult to get the angle in. Such as here, I think that post is perfectly in the way. We'll see what Ray's able to do. Able to get in, but goes through the house. And now that's passed over to Kevin. Kevin now with something to work with. Most certainly looking for the angle in. Getting between the posts. Darin will more than likely be content to hit and stick in that area. Even better in front of a post. Might not be perfectly in front of the post, but just enough. I was almost corrected there. Ray nearly dropping 20, leaving a heavy hanger for myself. Going a little bit long. The nerves were I think the nerves were getting to me a little bit more in this final round, personally, so not quite successful. To be fair, tough heavy hanger. Kevin nearly gets an angle in. We're coming down to the final shots. Darin with his last shot here. About to have two pieces on the board. He's going to leave a very, very tricky shot for Ray. Ray needs something big. I think to put significant pressure on us, he needs at least a double and a 20. I think is what really puts the pressure on. Or a single 20 off that one in the 15 would do it as well. I think, yeah, if he gets 120, but it looks like he's lined up for the double. He loves his double in 20s, and I wouldn't put it past Ray to get it. But I think looking at this, yeah, if he got a takeout 20 off that one in the 15, I would have to roll in off that one in the 5. Alas, it goes for something a little bit bigger. All Garret needs to do is take out that one in the 5. Easier said than done. He does it. Congratulations to Darin and Garret. See the handshakes around the board. The stress comes off a little bit. We see this accidental follow through. That was a great match. I would say certainly more competitive than the semifinals. Nonetheless, that brings us to the main event, the real main event of the evening between Andrew Hutchinson and Jeremy Tracey, aka the Canadian Cue Balls, up against the America Dream Team, Ryan Burr and Sean Haggerty. This is a clash of titans, so make sure you stay tuned for this. We have Linder Wendt doing the commentary for this match, so make sure you don't miss out. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more crokinole action. My name is Garrett, and as always, happy flicking.